Right, how do you think Muhammad Makayev wins? Because he's obviously not losing.
Oh, you're already going. You're
Yeah.
already... Makayev. I'd say probably sub. Probably win by sub.
Most likely, yeah.
I'll tell you what though, he hasn't looked incredibly convincing in some of his wins. Like
I think the last one, he didn't look that flash.
once he meets someone decent, he is really gonna struggle. I think like that's gonna show how good he really is.
I don't think it's to the Paddy Pimblett levels of beating up trash cans, but yeah, he hasn't looked amazing, but he certainly looked a lot better than the likes of like a Paddy who's been getting kind of fucked up.
I mean, Paddy never really was that much of a prospect for me. I don't think. Like,
you know what I mean though, like Makayev hasn't really looked like he's in danger of losing, he just hasn't looked like super dominant in some of them.
yeah, that's true. It depends. That'll show how much he's learned from the fights in the build-up.
Yeah. Next fight, Sam Patterson versus Yanel Ashmov.
I
Moz?
don't know them, so
Neither.
pass.
I'll go for Sam just because he's had 10 fights for only one loss. I'll assume that Yanel's fought 6 trash cans and then it's his first fight.
You never
maybe.
know, eh? You never know if those...
He doesn't have a
You
fucking
guys.
picture on this website, alright? He can't be that fucking flash.
don't mean shit.
Chris Duncan, Omar Morales.
I'll probably go Morales. I don't really know Duncan. I've seen Morales. He's not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty tough as well. And then you got Jack Shaw main eventing the prelims against Makwan.
Yeah, that's how they say it. Main eventing the prelims. Yeah, Jack Shaw for me. He's coming off a loss. I think this is a new
His
weight
first
class.
loss.
New weight class for him too. So that doesn't always. That's not always a good thing. New weight class, but I think he'll handle it all right.
Yeah, I'll jump on board with that. I think he might be quite dominant now. Onto the main card, Marvin Vittori versus Roman Dolidze.
Yeah, it's one of the
Which
ones.
is super tough.
One of those ones that probably end up making me look like a dildo, but I'm going to Leeds on that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Vittori gets a fucking bad rap just because he's lost to probably the 2 best middleweights in the company.
He actually weirdly does. It's quite like it's even I'm even finding it outrageous that I'm going for Dolidze because like
the
you
way
say,
Dolidze won his last fight was fucking insane.
Vittori only loses to killers. Like
Yeah.
the thing is,
People
though,
just see him because he's such a dickhead. People just kind of don't take his skill seriously.
yeah, that is true. And he's not a flashy fighter either.
No.
Like he's got a little bit of.
He's kind of just like a Derek Brunson to me. Like
He is.
He's just super all round.
He's a
like,
more-
He's not flashy, but
He's
just
a more
fucking
durable Brunson.
Yeah.
Like he's tougher. Like in terms of being able to eat more than Brunson could, and I think he's got better cardio, and he's probably these days a little bit more well-rounded as well. So he's got a little bit of everything, like a bit of striking,
He just
bit of
doesn't
wrestling.
excel anywhere. Right?
Exactly, he doesn't. Yeah, and he's not like a massive fight finisher or anything.
No.
The only reason I'm going for Dolidze is because I'm just still blown away by how easily he dismantled Jack Hermanson
On such
on
short
short
notice.
notice.
So, yeah.
It was insane. Like I still can't get over that, and I'm just.
Didn't Vittori kill Hermanson as well though?
Oh, Hermanson's not the best fighter in the world or anything. Like
He's still solid, but I don't know.
solid.
I think Vittori's getting overlooked because Robert Whittaker made him look pathetic. But that's Robert Whittaker.
yeah. For me, it's a combination of like because Hermanson was coming off a good win too, if I remember correctly, over Curtis.
Yeah.
I think
I think it might have been. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he made him look.
he
Curtis
made him
like
look
shit.
pathetic.
I don't know. I think it's a
So coming
Vittori
into that
decision
Dolidze
myself.
fight with the training, with the prep he had, I was like, wow, Dolidze's going to find that tricky, but he absolutely didn't. So
It's a good fight though.
yeah, it's
interesting.
like you say, it's really tough to pick.
Jennifer Meyer, Casey O'Neill.
Yeah, gotta
Going
be
for Case.
Casey O'Neill for me, undefeated. Looked really good with their last win. Can't remember who that was over. The tricky thing about picking this fight is how has Casey O'Neill come back from what I think was a pretty bad knee injury.
I don't know. I never put money on women fighting. It's far too unpredictable for me.
Yeah, you often meet your downfall when you do that. If you were going to do it, you'd look at doing fight to go the distance or something like that.
It's probably the only time I've ever back to a women's fight. Case in point, the last title fight, right? How many multis would have died from that? Yeah, I don't know. Could be a good fight though. I mean, anybody that's undefeated surely looks pretty good. 9-0 UFC.
And O'Neal, I believe, is quite a strike first fighter too. So it's always
could be a lot worse women's fights on the main card. Gunnar Nelson versus Ryan. Hey, Barbarina.
Well, we just talked about how much we don't care about this fight.
Yeah,
and
it's just there. Hopefully Dana's paid him extra to just throw bombs.
Barbarina's gonna get killed. Like, I
don't know.
He always eats the L, Barbarina, unless it's like super old guy he's fighting.
Well, Gunnar Nelson probably.
Nah, Gunnar's. I don't think he's that old actually.
He looks like he's 80.
Yeah, he looks it, but I'm pretty sure he's not. Gunnar should kill him.
Yeah, I don't care for it. It doesn't really do anything anywhere. Co-main.
Fiziev, because fuck Gaethje.
Whoa! I'm kind of almost in the same boat though. Gaethje's turned into a bit of a fucking dickhead of recent times. I also hate his whole team.
Gaethje always just comes across to me like his brain's already mush.
Well, it is.
Like him and T-Ferg.
It's not coming across like that. It just is like that.
Him and T-Ferg are just crazy. They're like, yeah, I don't know. They're just weird. And I mean, I want to see the prospect, shock the world too, and hopefully knock Gaethje out.
If he does, he's certainly probably next in line.
Who's his loss to? Is he?
Good question.
Can't even remember. I don't know if it was in the company or not. Probably was, but
he beat RDA, right?
Yeah. Handily beat him.
I can't remember.
I don't know if it puts him number one contender.
He should be after the next title fight. It should be him.
I think
after Charlie Olives and
Beneil Dariush.
Yeah, after that fight, that's the number one contender. Then Fiziev should be after.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But realistically, it would probably be the winner of Conor and Chandler.
Whoa.
Fiziev will probably get shafted, I'd say.
No, I don't know.
They'd
both probably take a long time off after that, I'd say, Conor and Chandler.
Don't know.
Especially after doing the Ultimate Fighter and then that. I couldn't imagine they go straight for a title shot after.
Depends how that fight plays out, I guess. Yeah, like you say, if one of them wins clean cut pretty fast, I could see them leapfrogging because Dana's quite likely to do that. He does that with his more sort of favoured, bigger money drawing
Conor's
fighters.
fucking fighting once every 2 years if he's lucky, so I doubt that he just jumps straight back in for a title shot. But
he may though, because he could be coming at it from that perspective of I missed out on so many fights over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
because before he was put out by Dustin, he wanted to fight I think 3 times that year. So
yeah, you never know what that cunt's doing.
I do cocaine.
Well, yeah. A lot of other things too, I'd assume. Magomed Mustafayev.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
His UFC debut. In the first 2 minutes.
Oh, was it his debut?
Debut.
Oh,
spinning back kick and punches.
In Russia too.
Minute 26, so rough start to his UFC
I have to go back and try and find that. The one thing you can point to as well on Fiziev's record is that he really hasn't beaten... He's beaten names for sure, but
not great
no one
names.
Right up there. I mean, RDA is
only one.
Always tough, but...
I'd say Diakisi, Moicano, Green, Riddell were kind of the ones to see if you were legit top 15.
Moicano's a big win, but also that's not Moicano of now Moicano.
Nah. Those are like... Hey, you're good enough to be in the 15. RDA's like, you might be legit.
To be fair, Diakisi, Bobby Green, and Brad Riddell are like, if you're a star on the rise, you should be beating those guys. So
and beating them handily.
That it's really interesting to see how he'll fare against a guy who's challenged for the title. I mean, obviously Dos Anjos is a former champ, but he's clearly also not in his prime.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. If he beats Gaethje, it makes the division even more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Going on to the main event then, Leon Edwards.
This is tough, Usman. Man. This is super tough.
I've got to remember too, it's easy to say it's number 2, but this is number 3 between them, so the tie break.
Yeah, the first one doesn't I mean, it's so long ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, it still counts though. It just means at that point in time, Usman was clearly the better fighter.
Yeah, I mean, Usman was the better fighter last fight for 4.5 rounds.
Well, he didn't win the first. He definitely didn't win the first. Usman last time.
3.5 rounds.
He dominated 3 rounds. Yeah.
No,
he didn't. He didn't dominate the final round either. Like before the head kick, he was losing that round the whole time. But still, yeah, 3.
He never looked like losing until that kick happened. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I did in the first. In the first, you're like, holy shit, you could be in for it. But
Disagree.
Then you can't. He got taken down and looked like dog shit in the first round.
Yeah, but he didn't look like he was going to lose in that first round.
Oh no, but
like, I mean,
watching that
didn't
round,
look like he was going to get choked or knocked
no,
out.
No. I'm not saying it looked like he was going to get finished, but he looked like he was going to. Like you're like, holy shit! If this happens every round, he's cooked.
Yeah, I mean, like he never looked like he was in danger of losing.
Absolutely not the way it played out.
Until last minute that kick.
He then took control for 3 rounds basically, and you're like, well, here he goes. He's going to coast out the 4th round now, and because of all the talk around it as well, it made you think even more like, oh wow, Leon has no shot. But the only guy who did believe in him, Leon, was his coach, and that was all he fucking needed to become champion of the world. And quite frankly, I think he'll do it again. He'll retain.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going.
I'm leaning that way too, but I don't think I'd put money on it. Usman's just he's done everything right. He's gone away. He's like admitted, yep, I lost. He's just put his head down and kind of healed up and worked. And as much as I hate the cunt, he's so fucking talented, man. He could come back and squash him out for 5 rounds. You never know.
I think he's started talking some shit now, but I mean, I guess you're always going to do that this close to the fight.
Yeah, that'll just be a building the fight sort of thing. I don't think it'd be a proper personal sort of
I've got Leon doing it easier this time around. I think
it could be. He could have the mental advantage now.
But I mean, I'm a Leon fan, so you could take it how you want to. I mean, I don't know that I'd say it regardless though. Like, I obviously rated him a chance of winning the title because I backed him to win. So
I never thought he was going to win that
by
belt.
knockout even. So I thought he had a chance in that fight, but like I wasn't certain. I just knew, I was like, well, he's definitely in with a chance, but I didn't think it was a given. I'm more confident this time around. I think he took a piece of Usman's soul, and I'm not encouraged by the fact that there was all this talk about Usman having a hand injury. It is a bit of a jump to start saying, oh, you know, Usman's got all these injuries.
I mean, everyone goes into fights with injuries. No one ever goes in without an injury.
He had them leading right up to the Leon fight, and that was only last year. So it depends how much you think he's declined in that time between then and now, which, yeah, I'm not too sure.
No, I wouldn't say he would have declined. I think the only thing that might change is if his mentality's different. This guy could knock me out at any second.
It's the mental thing for me. I think he's going to be way more paranoid about getting knocked out again.
He'll be a lot more cautious.
When you're paranoid like that, you say, for example, he might start focusing on blocking his head up more than anywhere else because he's scared he doesn't want that kick to connect with his head again. And when you do that, a guy like Leon sees those kind of openings, or if not Leon, his coach. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, regardless, Usman's definitely more vulnerable this time around. So I'm picking Leon's going to exploit that. And
so you're going for a Leon by finish?
Yeah, I'm going Leon by finish. Not even necessarily knockout either. I think he's still... People forget that in that first round, he actually coped with Usman's wrestling really well and managed a takedown of his own. So I don't think... That wouldn't be my first... I wouldn't pick a sub or a, ground and pound. Wouldn't be my first pick for how he might finish the fight, but I could... see them.
See, I couldn't see him finishing him as clean as he did again. I think if he was to finish it, he would TKO him or something. Maybe rock him and then get down. I don't know. But I think I'm going to go Leon by decision. But I could easily see Usman by decision.
Yeah, that's not neither of them are a bad shout. It is quite hard to see Usman finishing Leon, but... Yeah. I mean, look at what he's done before, though, right? He's Did he?
He's done it before to Masvidal and guys like that, but I mean,
Colby.
he didn't finish Colby.
Oh, that second one he didn't, eh? And
The first one might have
first
been.
one he did, yeah.
It was like super late.
Yeah.
Barely anything left in the fifth, wasn't it?
It was still impressive, but I mean,
But
Colby,
it was like a TKO.
Colby's not.
It wasn't like a clean. Like,
And he's not a Leon Edwards level striker.
Nah, fuck
Not
no.
even
Colby's a
fucking-
terrible striker.
even
That's why it was
close.
most embarrassing. Yeah, and Usman did that clean KO to Masvidal, but again, like Masvidal doesn't have.
He's on
Maybe he once had the striking,
big
but
time
he
on
doesn't
his
have the
way- on his
striking
way
of Leon
down.
now.
Yeah. If you look at a lot of those guys Masvidal beat to go on that run too, I mean, they were absolutely.
One of them was Darren Till. I think he was the biggest one. And look at Till.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you think he's the worst of them, but Ben Askren was one of the others.
Yeah.
He's even worse again.
He lost to fucking Jake Paul, man.
They're almost at that stage of their careers. They're almost tin can
Yeah,
territory.
they were. They literally were.
But yeah, looking forward to it anyway. I think Leon knocking out Usman's still one of my favourite UFC moments of all time.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it already, go and watch. The UFC's finally put out a little hype package behind Leon, and it's pretty fucking incredible.
I haven't seen it yet. Hawani was talking about it though, so
Yeah,
I need
it's
to go and
good.
check it out.